Hi, everybody. Hope everybody can hear me. Thank you all so much for being here today at our ComedySportz Philadelphia Camp ComedySportz free open house, where you can ask questions about our Camp ComedySportz, which is running the week of July 6th through July 10th. It's so great to have everybody here today. My name is Sarah LeClaire. I'm the Camp ComedySportz Director, and I'm here today to answer any questions that you might have and to talk a little bit about what the camp program looks like. As you may have realized, the pandemic that exists right now has moved a lot of camps to different sorts of models. And Camp ComedySportz is going to be this year 100% online, so virtual camp. And because of that, we wanted to take some time to address any of the issues that might come up with running a camp online and what that would look like on a day-to-day basis for you and your kids. Before we get started, I'm hoping that everybody can access at the bottom of their screen the Q&A or the chat features. Could everybody check that out? If possible, could you get into the chat box and say hi to me and let me know who's watching? If we've got parents, if we've got kids, if we've got campers who are coming out, if we've got prospective campers, find the button that says chat down at the bottom. Hi, I see Don is here. Hi, hello, hello. Good, so people are pouring in with their comments. If you can get to it, I know not everybody can. And also, if you would prefer an anonymous question and answer session, there's the Q&A button where I'll receive the question, but the rest of the panelists attending will not. Hello, prospective parents. I'm excited that people are here. So, with this in mind, we might need you to access the chat feature from time to time tonight and tell us some things. This is also a place where you can type questions as you think of them. And as soon as I see the question, I'll make sure to address it right away when we get to that portion. So with that in mind, I've got about half an hour to take you through what improv comedy camp looks like on Zoom. So without any further ado, I've got some people who are interested in this idea, but maybe have never done it before. I don't know how many of you have actually seen ComedySportz Philadelphia do a ComedySportz match before. What we do, and we are Philadelphia's longest running comedy show. We've been running for more than 25 years, doing what's known as short form improvisation. Now, improvisation means we're making stuff up with no script and no plan. And it somehow turns out to be a really funny, really awesome show to watch. So a lot of students have been in plays in school or have had to read scripts in school, and you know what that's like, right? You take a character and you read their lines, and if you were going to perform it on stage, maybe you had to memorize those lines and be prepared to act it out on the stage. And every time you do the show, every time you have a rehearsal, you have to get those same lines right every single time. Improv is a little bit different. Improv, we might send two people up on the stage and then ask the audience, so where are these two people? And person one didn't know where they were going to be, and person two didn't know where they were going to be, and somebody in the audience yells, "You're in a bank!" And now we're going to make up a scene where we're in a bank together, and we didn't even know we were going to do it. The thing is, there are a whole lot of really awesome games and warm-ups and skills that lead us to be able to do that, to put on a bank scene that we didn't even prepare for, and to do it for an audience. And the audience are going to be, minds blown. How did they do that? They didn't even get a chance to plan. That's what improvisation means. We also do comedy improvisation, which means that a lot of the stuff we do is meant to make people laugh. So, Camp ComedySportz is teaching all of those skills that our professional troupe uses and putting on a very similar showcase by the end of the week, learning the actual games that we play as the adults in our Saturday night matches. So without any further ado, I have my friend Don who's behind the scenes. Hey Don, I have a PowerPoint and I'd like to start that up if you don't mind. Yay! Here's our camp staff this year for 2020. Now, if you come to ComedySportz Philadelphia shows, you will know all of these people as our professional players that get a chance to perform for you. And they are all here, and we're going to talk about what they're going to be doing this summer. Like I said, I'm the camp director. I have my email address there. We're also going to post that in the chat for you. If you have questions at any time that you think of after this presentation, please get in touch with me at camp@comedysportsphilly.com, and that'll go right to me, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So this year we've got the red team with Kelsey and Sue, and we've got the blue team with Mary and Melissa. And they'll be divided up by age. Red team are our younger campers, and blue team are our older campers. And I have to say that all of these people up here are going to get a chance to introduce themselves to you in a second, but they are fabulous, and I'm super excited to have them on board. Also, we have 4 special guest stars, one of them per day, Monday through Thursday, who will be showing up to talk to you about different aspects of improv. So Josh is coming to talk about yes and, which is the basic tenet of starting everything that we do, and we'll explain to you a lot more what that is coming up. Noah is going to be here to do good character work. Daryl Charles will be talking about jokes and puns and delivery, and Joe Sabatino of the Jim Henson's Creature Workshop fame will be doing some puppeteering with us on Thursday, and I'll talk more about that as we get through the presentation. But Don, you can take my PowerPoint away, because I'd rather just see the faces of the staff. Hey, here they are.
Right.
Oh my gosh, these people are fabulous. These are people who do the ComedySportz matches every Saturday night, even online now. And I'd like to go around really quickly and have them talk a little bit about themselves, what their background is, or what their favorite games are. Just say a quick hi. So can we start with a red team, which is Kelsey and then Sue?
So hi, I am Kelsey. I've been a member of ComedySportz for about 1.5 years now. I moved up to Philly from New Orleans 2 years ago, and I graduated with my degree in theater from the University of Southern Mississippi. Since then, I've been teaching improv at ComedySportz, at the Lab in Ambler, and I also work with a theater in Westchester doing Shakespeare and bringing classic works to contemporary audiences. What's my favorite game? I like heavy rotation, where you go over the characters of other people during a scene.
Hi, I'm Sue Taney, and I will also be working with the red team. I'm born and raised in New Jersey. I have my bachelor's degree in theater and my master's in education. I'm currently a preschool teacher. I have been working with ComedySportz for coming up on 9 years now. And I've been teaching with them for about 5. This is my first year teaching camp, and it is like my 2 favorite things combined. So I'm so very excited. And my favorite game, I think, is Story.
Story is an awesome one. I definitely think we will be doing some of that this camp week. And let's hear from the blue team, who are Mary and Melissa.
Hi, I'm Mary Carpenter. I have been with ComedySportz for 28 years. I've been a performer, I've been artistic director, I've been education director, and I've been teaching with ComedySportz for about 26 of those years. Recently published a book on improv. I have a degree in theater from Northwestern. I have taught middle school for about 8 years, the theater and specifically improv to the 7th grade class. And I'm an actress and director in Philadelphia area. And my favorite game, Quick Change. Love it.
Nice. Excellent.
Hi, I'm Melissa Manji. I don't like following Mary because she's I've been with ComedySportz for 5 years, but I'm a high school English teacher and director of the 9th and 10th grade play. I also coach our improv team there, and I work with Town and Country players in Doylestown with their summer camp. I also love games, and my favorite I love character games because I make a lot of faces, so my favorite is Advice Panel.
Amazing. And those are the blue team counselors. And then let's hear from 2 of our special guest stars who are here with us tonight, Daryl and Noah.
Hi, my name's Daryl. I have been in ComedySportz since 2011, and I am a comedian and improviser in and around Philadelphia and that entire region. And my favorite game is Forward Reverse. I'm a big fan of that one, especially because I was very afraid to play it at first, but thanks to practice and doing it over and over again, it's one of my favorites.
That's awesome.
And
Noah?
hi, everyone. My name is Noah. I taught at Comedy Sports Camp 2 years ago as one of the counselors. But I've been with ComedySportz since 2009, performing and teaching for most of those years. I'm primarily a theater director, and I use a lot of improv practices and improv skills, the stuff that we're going to go over and teach and have fun with at camp this summer. I use a lot of that in my directing. And my favorite ComedySportz game is What Are You Doing?
That's awesome. So actually, now that you brought that up, Noah, would you mind modeling a little bit of What Are You Doing?
Love to model What Are You Doing?
That's so awesome. All right. So, Mary, would you play What Are You Doing too? If anybody is near the chat feature, I recognize that not everybody has access to that, but if anybody is near the chat feature, I'm going to start asking in a second for a suggestion to help Noah and Mary model one of our introductory games that we play a lot at ComedySportz in the actual matches. And this is something that campers would probably have an opportunity to learn and practice and perform as well. So in the game of What Are You Doing? A player is going to do some sort of activity in this Zoom rectangle in which we find ourselves, this little frame that we've got. And another player is going to ask, what are you doing? Well, that first player is going to answer with anything in the world other than what they're actually doing. And player number two is going to have to start doing that thing. So for example, if I was tapping my head and somebody said, what are you doing? I'd have to answer anything under the sun except tapping my head. I might say, I'm shooting basketball hoops, in which case that player immediately begins doing the thing that I said. And they go back and forth, and we make the game more and more challenging as we go. In the chat window, could somebody type to me something that you left behind at school when school closed that you thought about for the past 3 months? What did you leave at school? Oh no, glasses. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. All right, so I'm going to say that glasses is your suggestion. Noah, you're going to start, and we'll watch how this goes. Go for it.
What are you doing?
I'm opening up all the drawers in my house to find lost glasses.
Oh my gosh, where are all the, everything is in drawers in my house.
What are you doing?
Searching under the bed for lost glasses.
Oh, I have to lift the mattress.
What are you doing?
Drinking out of a water glass.
Ah.
What are you doing?
Pounding glass out of my old glasses to put in my new glasses to save money.
Well, these glasses don't work anymore. Pop!
Now hold on a second. I'm going to call it there because I think that's really terrible optometric advice that we're giving to the people. Don't ever do that. Guys, a round of applause, please, for Noah and Mary. And everybody else can come on back from the panel so that we can see your faces too. This is what we mean when we're talking about spontaneously made up. As you see in that game, some of the stuff that happens is pretty cool, is you're actually thinking about two different things at the same time. What am I actually doing with my hands and my voice? And what am I gonna say when they ask me what I'm doing? These kinds of improv skills actually translate a lot to life skills. There's a lot of time when your hands are busy doing something and your brain's got to be doing another thing. So what we've actually found is that people who do improv tend to get really good at certain soft skills that are not just performative, but things about being cooperative, being communicative, being able to think on your feet, being a little bit more confident that whatever comes out of your mouth is the right thing to come out of your mouth. So those are some of the things that we practice in order to get really good at improv. So let me tell you a little bit about what the camp week is going to look like. Don, if you don't mind throwing that PowerPoint back up for a second. I'm going to take you through a few slides about how it's going to work on Zoom, which is a little bit different. So our schedule for the week of July 6 through 10 is to have 3 1-hour blocks of time. And you can see the schedule here, and that's also on our website, which if you go to visit, you'll find out about. So you'll be on Zoom for block 1 from 11 in the morning until noon. Lots of different things will happen in block 1. We'll probably all come together as a whole camp to talk about stuff, and then you'll split up into different breakout rooms in Zoom, which we'll take care of for you. And in those breakout rooms, you'll be with your team counselors, learning different games, different skills, having different warm-ups and different layups to try to practice those skills, and doing lots of really fun and hilarious and creative scene work and character work together. One of those 3 blocks during the day will be your special guest star block, and we'll talk about them momentarily. And then the other 2 will be with your main group counselors. In between those sessions, so you can see there's a gap between 12 and 12:30, and then a gap again between 1:30 and 2. We're going to go offline and let you take care of the things that you need to do. Probably eat something, hydrate, use the restroom, whatever it is that you have that you need to take care of, we'll take a little break from the screen. We think that that's probably pretty important because the screen is a new component and a new player in our improv lessons, and we want to make sure that you get a little bit of time to, you know, pat the dog and the other stuff that's happening in the household. And then it's back to the next block. So the special guest stars, depending on your schedule for the day, will either be during block 2 or block 3. You will always start block 1 with your team group so that you have a chance to practice whatever foundational skills are needed for whatever the special guest star is going to teach. And Don, you can cycle through a few of the photos that follow this just to see. These were all done for our in-person camp, as you can see. What we do is kind of physical. So you still want to be able to stand up if possible, or be able to move around in your chair as much as possible while you're doing things. And we'll be able to, just like we did with Noah and Mary, have 2 people on the screen talking to each other at the same time. And we'll talk you all through that and how to be properly set up to do Zoom camp. Once you've registered, you'll get all of that information sent to you. All right, let's go to the special guest stars for a minute. So again, here's the list. You saw that on the earlier slide. These people who are coming in to talk about different facets of improv that they enjoy. I'm going to put 2 of them on the spot. Tuesday is Noah, who's here, and I'd love for him to talk a little bit about some of the stuff he likes about character work and some of the games that we do with that. So Noah, over to you, and then we'll go to
Sure.
Daryl afterwards.
Yeah, hi again, everybody. So the point of I think it's wonderful to have a guest each day who brings their own kind of specialty and improv tools to the table. One of my favorite things to teach is character work, because creating a character and playing a character as an improviser, it's in every single scene game that we do. So a lot of the games we do in ComedySportz are games that create scenes like you would see a scene in a television show or a scene in a movie. And 100% of those scenes that you see in any of your favorite shows, movies, plays, musicals, things of that nature, contain characters. And in my workshop day on the Tuesday of camp, we're going to figure out what it means to be a character. What kind of physical things? Sarah mentioned the physicality is really important to us in ComedySportz. How can we create a character with our voices? What things with our bodies rather, and then our voices? What can we do with our voices to make a different character? And then what does that character want in a scene? And what is that character's personality and point of view? And how do we create that quickly on the spot improvisationally? That's the kind of stuff that I'm going to be doing with my groups on Tuesday, July 7th.
That's awesome. And then Daryl, you're coming the next day, which is Wednesday the 8th. So talk about what you're going to do.
Yeah, we're going to go over some joke telling and puns. I really think that it's a fun activity that really teaches like quick thinking, analytical skills. So when we get our suggestion, we have to really think about how to break it apart and how to come up with the areas that we'll make puns based off of. And then also along with that is delivery. You know, half of every joke that you tell is really how do you tell it. So we're going to go over some drills and some games that focus on how to stand confidently and deliver your jokes.
That's so great, because honestly, that joke delivery, that's the most important aspect of being a joke-telling human being, is you got to be able to sell the joke and do it with confidence. So, Don, if you'll take us back, please, to just a couple more PowerPoint slides that I wanted to touch on. And then again, I want to open it up to anybody to either use the anonymous Q&A feature, or if you don't mind us seeing your name, you can use the chat feature. But if you have any questions, we're going to get to the Q&A portion in just a moment. Here are some of the puppets that Joe brought. I think this was a couple of years ago at camp now, actually. And here are some of the kids working with the puppets. So if you'll scroll through, let's talk about what they'll actually be doing for our Friday showcase. Friday's a little bit different. There's no special guest star. We're going to put together our showcase and invite you as parents and family and friends to see what we've been working on all week. And the campers will get a chance to showcase some of their favorite games from the week and the skills that they've learned, and it's all around hilarious and a very enjoyable time. We will give much more specific information to people, to the parents during that week, for the Zoom link that you'll use for that and what time it will start, because that'll be set up a little bit differently from the rest of the camp week. The rest of the camp week is clicking on basically the same Zoom link every time, but for the showcase where we have invited guests coming, that'll be a different link that they'll have, and we'll send that out as well. But you're able to invite people, and here's the wonderful thing about Camp Online that we don't usually get to celebrate. Everybody can see the live showcase now, no matter where they are, which is phenomenal. And in fact, campers can participate no matter where they are. We have people who are signed up from Iowa, from Wyoming, from California, people who are not from our Philadelphia area, but are very interested and now able to take our camp and see what we do. So it's a really exciting time for us. If you could flip forward to a couple slides forward, Don. I've got a list of some stuff that you might want to think about before we Zoom, just to try to wear comfortable clothing to allow for movement. When I say set up a safe zone, I mean, as much as possible, try to avoid whacking your hip on a table corner or hitting the kitchen lamp above the kitchen table. Just think about a little bit about the space, and we'll talk to the kids, of course, about what their safe zone is for movement and make sure that things don't get too wacky. But if they're moving, we want to make sure that they are in a space where they're safe to do so. So what will happen is we'll send whatever email you use to register for, we will send that Zoom link for the session to that email unless you request a different one. It will be the same Zoom link to start off the day all throughout. Make sure that you do recharge during the breaks, that that's a perfect time to hit the bathroom, to grab a snack, to drink a glass of water. Parents, we really think that the camp is self-sufficient during the blocks of time. There's a lot going on. The kids are going to be totally invested. There's a whole lot of performance stuff happening and a lot of teaching going on. We may need some help with our younger campers, especially at the top of each block, if they've gone away for the break and then they need help checking the email and clicking back on the link. But once they're set up, they should be fairly self-sufficient. We're going to go through a quick Zoom practice with them to help them find the audio and the video buttons and understand what they're going to be asked to do for different games that require them to mute themselves or come back. And we'll practice all of that. But honestly, as the camp day runs, you're free to go about your day and see what you can do with that time, because we've got it from here. There might be some extra items for each day. So for example, on character day, we might actually need to have a random hat that you have or a scarf that you have to just try some different character things. We might ask you to bring a joke on joke telling day to be prepared for that. Joe Sabatino, our puppeteer, is preparing a list of random stuff you might have around the house that, believe it or not, you could use to design your own puppets. So you'll have some things that you can grab and pull from there and put that together. And then just enjoy everything that we're doing and check it out at the Friday showcase. So I think 2 slides from here, Don, I've got the Join the Fun. Our website is Camp ComedySportz online. at the end of ComedySportsPhilly.com. And again, we'll post that in the chat as well. I'm looking to see if I've got some questions. So how are the kids broken up according to age? And honestly, that is not determined quite yet, because we are opening up to a younger group this year. We're opening up to grades 2 through 3. So I would imagine that we're probably around grades 2 through 4 is one grade, one group, and then 5 through 9 is probably the other group. More or less ages 7 to 9, and then 10 and up, somewhere in there. But we're also going to go for more equitable splits as much as possible. So it depends in the end how many are registered. So the 10 to 11 age is possibly red team or possibly blue team. And both teams will learn most of the same games, and then a few different games to showcase at the Friday event. Anything else that people want to ask? Checking that out. So I'm going to turn it back over to the panel here, just in case there are more questions. I did want to say that the early bird special was scheduled to end tonight at midnight. There is still a discount code. If you enter summer20 to register, you can still access that after midnight tonight, I believe. But there is our regular fee is going to be in effect moving forward. But because you attended today, we will still offer that discount. So summer20 is the code. Again, I want to just thank all of you for your interest today. It really means a lot. We're doing really, really amazing things. The parents and the campers from the previous years always are coming back, are talking very highly about what they've learned, the skills in life and the skills on stage. It's great for kids who have no performance experience whatsoever, but are interested in getting started and dabbling and seeing what it looks like. It's great for kids who have tons of stage experience. We've had people who have come literally because they're professional child actors, but have no improv experience. And apparently on auditions, professional child actors are expected to improvise. So we have the whole gamut of people who have zero experience, people who love comedy, people who love being on stage and performing, people who have seen a million comedy sports matches and are really excited to get started, and people who watched What Are You Doing getting played by Mary and Noah and were like, I want in on that. Fabulous. I want to remind you that my email address is camp@ComedySportsPhilly.com. And thank you so much. Oh, I'm excited too. It's phenomenal. And if there's anything that I can do to address any other questions that you have or model more, what are you doing? I'll get you on a Zoom call and I'll play with you if you wanna work it through. Again, our camp week is July 6th through 10th. We are Camp ComedySportz Philadelphia online this year, and we hope that we'll see you that week. Thank you very much. Thanks everybody for my panel for being here.